You're watching Tea and Poetry with Dave Steele, the blind poet.
I want to welcome everyone a good morning or a good afternoon or a good evening to everyone out there. It is great to be here on Tea and Poetry. It's just incredible how time flies where we were just, wrapping things up last week. What I am going to do is in continuing with the new format, I'm going to, which we give everyone a heads up, I'm going to promote everyone, guys, you're being promoted, to a panelist. And I'm going to have you, if you want, you'll have your video feed on. We feel that the interaction is just, incredibly more powerful like that. So if you're feeling a little shy, you don't want the video on, no problem, we understand. But just want to give a heads up to everyone that I will be momentarily bringing everyone in as a panelist and giving you the opportunity to have your video on. Additionally, I want to let you know that you could always post, information in the Q&A, in the chat. You could always raise your hand like our good friend Travis does. So there are multiple ways to get our attention, or you could just start like waving your hand at the screen and like raising your hand like please, 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 I would like to come on. So I'm going to start to go ahead and bring people over. And I also wanted to let everyone know, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, over the next hour, we are going to be talking everything about sight loss. I know that you're going to be enjoying some incredible poetry written by the one and only Dave Steele, the blind poet. And yeah, it's going to be a great hour. If you have a drink, I'm still on my cup of coffee from this morning, but don't worry, this was my third cup. So take it a little slower. And yeah, if you have a drink, please feel free to drink along. So I'm going to bring everyone over now to a panelist. Great to see some new faces, existing faces, what to call it. Yeah, it's great to see everyone. So can't wait to hear from some people as well. And this is just an incredible international community that always joins us, and great to have everyone here. We have everyone here. I'm going to request that. Well, I'll put mute. But if you guys want to talk, we'll talk. We'll get to that point. That's fine. Anyway, it's great to see everyone. And how are you, Dave? Oh, Dave is muted. Hold on, I muted you as well.
There you go. That's fine.
There you go.
Sorry, yeah, I'm very good. Start of a very busy month for all of us, really.
Yes.
It is Low Vision Awareness Month, as well as Retinitis Pigmentosa Awareness Month, and also tied in with Low Vision Awareness Month, it's also Age-Related Macular Degeneration Month. So kind of a month to really bring attention and talk about, these conditions, retinal diseases, and really raise awareness of low vision. Something that I do kind of every day. I don't need a month to kind of do this, but
right.
I was like posting a little bit more and getting a little bit more creative during this month. It's always a special month for me anyway, because what I do is, or what I have done in the past, my previous 3 books, the Stand By Me RP books, have always come out on a February. And that was because of RP Awareness Month. So it's always been a bit of a special month. We've got the kind of anniversaries of all my 3 previous books before Austin's Amazing Adventures over the next coming weeks. And it always inspires me to kind of write more poetry. And I've written 2 new pieces of poetry today.
Can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to hear it. So it is like you said, it is Low Vision Awareness Month. I think we're going to be announcing some things in the coming days as far as maybe some special virtual events that we're going to be hosting. Can't wait to announce a couple things where Dave will be featured and really become a prominent figure / face with a great organization in recognition for Low Vision Awareness Month. And there are just a lot of incredible things on the horizon, which we'll be able to announce in the coming days. So
Yeah,
overall,
and also next Wednesday, this is a great one for you to tune in. Next Wednesday's Tea and Poetry is going to be a cool one to tune in for, because I will be on my way back. I might probably be back by the time Tea and Poetry is, from my first in-person school visit, promoting and talking with the children on Austin's Amazing Adventures. So I'm sure I'm going to have lots to report back next Wednesday as well. From I'm going to a place called Doncaster, which
where
is
is
about
that? Where is
it's
that?
about an hour and 30 minutes away from me via train. So I've got to get
Oh
a train
wow.
early in the morning. And yeah, the school there, one of the pupils has RP, and he's had the book for a few weeks now and absolutely loves it. And he asked me if I'd come to his school, so we got that arranged with his principal, his head teacher. And one of the really cool things that's going to happen next week is Jack has never actually spoken with his friends at school, or any of his classmates, about having RP. In fact, I don't think most of them know.
Hmm.
And during the talk next Wednesday, he is going to stand up with me and he's going to talk for the very first time about his low vision.
Wow. That's very powerful. Interestingly enough, I had a call with a young gentleman last night, and he is 26 years old. I don't think anyone here in this group knows who he is. Um, and he reached out to me for a project that I'm involved with, and he told me that he's never met another person with RP.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating. I don't know. It's just the way it is, for me, right? We always say, macular degeneration is the number one, sight loss condition. But here, Bari Azman, a lot of my good friends, including you, Dave, have RP. It's just, I'm surrounded by the RP community. It's really fascinating. So I
Yeah.
told them
I mean,
not
it's
to
one in
worry. They
4,000.
don't bite.
No. It's 1 in 4,000. But the amount of people, especially in America, who live in kind of big spread out communities and maybe don't actually get involved within the community like we are, that have
Right.
never met. When I was first diagnosed with RP, when I went for kind of like almost like a low vision assessment, but not the same kind of assessment that your dad does.
Okay.
Just to kind of help me with the process of getting registered as being severely sight impaired and all that kind of stuff, and giving me advice at my local blind society. One of the people who was there was a lady who had RP, and she'd worked there for quite some time. And when she met me, I was the first person that she'd ever met with RP, which was really quite bizarre. So yeah, it does work out that way sometimes.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating. So I guess, listen, I'm fortunate to be surrounded by incredible individuals who have RP and other sight loss conditions, and I guess this is the luxury when you work with some incredible people. You get to hang out with them as well. So, but
Yeah,
it was pretty fascinating. So I can't actually wait to bring this individual into tea and poetry in the coming weeks.
absolutely.
He's a little shy, and but I know he will come and he will join us. And I'll leave it and say one thing: he is a golfer. I'll leave it like that. So
Okay,
really
cool.
fascinating.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah. So that's that. All right, you ready to kick it off with a little piece of poetry? Because I got my pen and pencil. I'm not sure which
Yeah,
one I want to use today.
this is an interesting piece. This is one of the pieces that I wrote today. And my kind of thinking behind this one, obviously, it would be in Low Vision Awareness Month, and a couple of things I'm involved in at the moment. Actually, I want to make a bit of an announcement before I read this. I don't think I've really spoke about this yet, but I can kind of officially announce it now. Here in the UK, with it
We
being
don't wear
Low Vision
masks.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, here in the UK, well, let me rewind a second. With it being Low Vision Awareness Month, one of the things that's at the front of my mind, when I'm writing at the moment, is talking about invisible disabilities or hidden disabilities. And there is an organization here in the UK, which basically is the kind of leading organization on hidden disabilities. And a few years ago now, before the pandemic, they came up with this idea, and there may be people, obviously on here from the UK who know all about this. They came up with this idea of using the sunflower as a representation of hidden disabilities, and basically for anyone who had a lanyard with sunflowers on it,
Right.
which you could pick up from airports and train stations and supermarkets, and shopping malls and things like that. If you were wearing a sunflower lanyard, it would signal to members of staff that you have a hidden disability, and they would ask you if you needed any assistance, and obviously leave it down to the person. So it was quite a nice, subtle way. And then obviously when the pandemic kicked in, they really became a lot more prominent, because for people who were exempt from wearing masks, as you were just kind of talking about just there for a second.
I was just joking, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a sunflower lanyard on, that would be a signal that you have a hidden disability and you were perhaps exempt from wearing a mask, so it doesn't get questioned or raise any kind of uncomfortable situations. So the organization actually approached me a few weeks ago and have asked me to come on board with them and be a judge in a national poetry competition highlighting hidden disabilities. So with the announcement's just been made for that, and it's entries are available now for people in the UK, and they're asking people to write poetry on hidden disabilities. So I, thinking of that today, wanted to kind of talk about that, especially with it being Low Vision Awareness Month, which is often, a hidden disability. And as we talk about things like that, 75% of all people with disabilities are actually invisible disabilities. So
right. I thought they were going to ask you, instead of doing the sunflower, I thought they were going to say they want to change the lanyard to the BP logo.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be good.
So anyway, this poem is all about, obviously, we've been Low Vision Awareness Month and hidden disabilities, and it's simply called Let's Talk.
And before you start,
Sure.
I want to know, for those of you here in the US, or if you're in another country like maybe Italy or Australia, or wherever you are, if there is such a thing here in the US or where you are, as far as to identify with a hidden disability, like Dave was just saying how they do in the UK. Put it in the chat. I'd love to know.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk. Let's start the conversation about how the blind can see. Let's talk about the spectrum within disability. The lack of education makes some people stop and stare. It doesn't mean that I can't walk if I'm in a wheelchair. It doesn't mean that I cannot hear if I have a hearing aid. There's varying degrees of sight. These things decline in shades. But there are still too many who will judge when they're not right. It's really not that difficult. It's not all black and white. Yet here we are still trying to change the things that they should know. The effects are isolating, limit where some people go. Too many stay indoors, avoiding looks of strangers' doubt. But staying home alone is not what life is all about. There's far too many places in this world you should explore. It's not an excuse to do less, but a reason to do more. I'm leading by example. To my children, I'll inspire. They'll take the bar that I have set and lift that thing much higher. Although I am disabled, I am able to succeed, for there's no valid reason that our goals we can't exceed. So let's start the conversation about all that they believe. Let's change the misconceptions, change the way we are perceived.
It's funny when you said let's talk. I didn't realize that's how you were starting off for a second with the piece. Tons of things that I've written down. And by the way, I want to encourage you, just how I, take notes or mental notes. If you guys out there want to, take notes and call out on certain pieces and digest the poetry just the way I do, we would love that. So I want to,
if there's a particular line that kind of, really sticks with you, while people are just kind of catching up, I'm going to read it one more time to see if there's one more, any lines that kind of leap out. So let's try that again. Let's talk. Let's start the conversation about how the blind can see. Let's talk about the spectrum within disability. The lack of education makes some people stop and stare. It doesn't mean I cannot walk if I'm in a wheelchair. It doesn't mean I cannot hear if I have a hearing aid. There's varying degrees of sight. These things decline in shades. But there are still too many who will judge when they're not right. It's really not that difficult. It's not all black and white. Yet here we are still trying to change the things that they should know. The effects are isolating, limit where some people go. Too many stay indoors, avoiding looks of strangers' doubt. But staying home alone is not what life is all about. There's far too many places in this world you should explore. It's not an excuse to do less, but a reason to do more. I'm leading by example. To my children, I'll inspire. They'll take the bar that I have set and lift that thing much higher. Although I am disabled, I am able to succeed, for there's no valid reason that our goals we can't succeed. So let's start the conversation about all that they believe. Let's change the misconceptions, change the way we are perceived.
I'm happy you said it again, because I'm happy. I'm sure it wasn't like recorded, or you you already filmed it. No, let's change those misconceptions. I get it. Again, everything always happens. All about timing, right? I just happened to again have this conversation. I met this person really for the first time. They sent an email to me yesterday. I called them up, and we're having this conversation. He's a young guy. He's a golfer. Never met. He's got RP. He's never met anyone else with RP, and I would say he's amateur slash making it be competing on a professional level, and I asked him, I said, he was telling me how he lost his multiple jobs because he's actually a nurse, and he lost multiple jobs because I guess the employers, felt he was more of a liability. And he's like, no, I was like, I'll just, whether, just entertain and be with people, whether it's a nursing home, whatever it is. And like, no, I'm sorry. They basically let him go. They wouldn't give him any other option or anything else, which that's a whole different conversation. But what I was going with this is that I'm just looking here at my notes. We're talking about golf, and he wants to, push himself, and he is pushing himself, and he wants to, get to a professional level. And I think he's very close to achieving that, which is incredible in itself. And he's like, I can just see it when I'm on the golf course and I'm, competing. People are going to look at me like, why is he here? Why is he competing? Why isn't he in more of the association for disabled golfers, right? Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, and he wants to compete with everyone, just like anyone else. And I told him, you should, because people shouldn't be looking at him, and he doesn't have a mobility cane yet either. That's a whole nother conversation we had also. But I told him, focus on your strength as an athlete, because that's where your talent is. Anyone who you're competing with also has those talents as well. Put the sight aside, focus on your strength, focus on your talent, and that's where you're going to succeed. And it really,
nice.
And I think it really, it sends a message across the board as far as focus on your talents. And while he may not be able to perform the specific duties relating to, being a nurse, he has other talents, and he's now utilizing them and putting them to good use. I also just want to go back as far as lack of education, because, Austin's Amazing Adventure is really created. It's created based on the lack of education out there, right? That's one of the strong points of why Dave took the time, the energy to create Austin's Amazing Adventures, not just because he was in the mood to put together a children's book with, beautiful illustrations. It's about changing the misconceptions, changing the way people look at the overall sight loss community, the disability community, and breaking down those barriers. That's what it's all about. And lack of education it's so critical, and it's just across the board. I've seen it, in various cases. You turn on, maybe a news channel, right? And everyone always thinks like the news, gives 100% accurate. This station is X, and they, provide, a reliable source of news. And I've heard it, like I'll give you an example. They're reporting on something that I'm very familiar with, a topic, and these guys don't know what they're talking about, and they're just spewing things, right, about this topic that they were reporting on. I'm like, it's just so not accurate what they're saying. So it just led me to, it just went to show that, they're uneducated about most topics, and that it's our responsibility to go out there and to really push and to let people know, as far as what's going on with, we're here, we're talking about sight loss, as far as, and to educate them. So that's a big part of our mission here as a whole, to educate, to rise above, and to continue to, like you said, able to succeed. We are all able to succeed.
Yeah, I think it says in there, a line that I've spoke about a lot recently is, disability. It's not an excuse to do less, but a reason to do more. It shouldn't be an excuse to give up on your dreams. It should actually be the thing that makes you focus on them even more. Do it now.
Do it now. Absolutely. So that was a great piece. You got me all fired up, and I'm
yeah. Anyone out there kind of want to add any lines that kind of leapt out to them?
If you want to, well, many of you have your cameras open. It's great. If you want to say anything, now would be a good time to, you can give me thumbs up if you want to come on. For those of you who have their camera on, if not, you can put something in the chat. I know we always have a very quiet group here, but I want to tell you, it's funny. Oh, there you go. I'm going to bring on Bambi. Bambi, I'm unmuting you, and hold on 1 second. There you are. How are you, Bambi?
Are you on mute?
Hi.
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah.
Good evening. How are we doing, Bambi? You okay?
I can hear you, yes. Where's my
Am I-
picture?
oh,
No, I'm not, that's not why. How come I can't come on?
Oh, hold on one.
Have we got two Bambis?
Yeah, no. I got it. We're good.
Okay.
Bambi, go ahead.
Go on, Bambi.
Me, yes?
Yes,
I think
yes.
is that Brandy?
No.
There we go. Uh-huh.
Is that two different? That
No.
Yeah.
I think I may have hit unmute to someone. That's all.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So-
Go ahead.
Me, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just I was struck by the line where, we're talking about disability as a spectrum. And in my work in special education for the last 12, almost 15 years now, I've done a lot of work in trying to get teachers to understand that all needs come on a spectrum. So whether that is vision loss or autism or ADHD, there's so many different ways in which that presents, that they can't just, they shouldn't just see someone who has sight loss and think, well, they can't see or they can see. It's very, very fluid, and it's about getting to know that person. So when you're talking about lack of education, yes, we need to encourage those who have the disability to be able to advocate for themselves and say, actually, this is what I can do, but also those supporting them as well, and getting them to understand that, just because, I had one example, a girl in school who has RP, she would get on and, you would look at her and she'd be getting on with her friends and doing things. And one of the teachers in a meeting says, well, I think she's just faking it. The teacher actually said that in a meeting, and I was just like, she actually said this to me. I was like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah.
This kid is not faking anything, but they're just people have, isn't it? That blindness means you just can't see, and that's not the case. So educating everyone is important.
And can I just say, Bambi, it's lovely to have you back on, from being a guest last week, and also wanted to give a big thank you to you and a bit of a plug, because the podcast that we recorded together has just gone live today. Can you tell people where they can find that?
Yeah, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google play wherever. I've posted the link in a lot of the groups as well. So if you're in a lot of the groups on Facebook, they'll be there as well. It's in my group too, but everywhere. Anyway, you listen to podcast.
And it's I'm getting this right. It's She's a VIP.
Yes, the She is a VIP podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, She's a VIP. Yeah, it's a great episode. Dave made the episode, so it's really good.
I love doing it with you. It was great. It was great talking. I had a little listen earlier on.
Yeah.
So it was great to see that go live today as well.
That's great. It's good to be back. I really
You know,
enjoyed last
Bambi, you just reminded me of something, because last week we had you, and we also had the RP show, correct? It was last week, right?
I recorded a podcast with the RP show last night.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Cool.
So I want to, if you guys remember, it was last week. Yeah, right? Yeah,
last week.
I'm sorry. Everything's like all condensed into one. But last week we were talking about the fact how
wet floor signs.
Wet floor signs. Exactly. You knew where I was going with this.
I did.
Yes. So we were talking about wet floor signs, and I was traveling last Thursday. Yes, last Thursday, I was traveling, and I came across a wet floor sign, and I'm going to share that picture with everyone here in just a moment. It was, it literally, even for me, it came out of nowhere, and I'm like, yep, I speaking of the devil. Speaking of the devil. Let me see if I can just change this. I guess I'm just trying to rotate the photo. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and
audio describe as well.
Yes, I will.
Oh, by the way, we dropped the ball tonight.
Oh, thank you. There we go. Sorry about that.
There we go.
Here we go. Sorry. All right, screen share. Here we go. I'm going to share this photo right here. Okay, so if you guys can see the photo that is on the screen now, it's me, Bari, at the Orlando International Airport, and I'm standing at the arrivals concourse outside, and I have my right foot up as if I'm going to kick the wet floor sign and knock it over.
Awesome.
So, yes. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
I'm going to record a video for them of me walking into somewhere with a wet floor sign and using my cane to swipe at it like a golf club and really knocking that sucker for four.
Wow. So Amy has posted here in the chat. She says, I've been contacted by a woman who wants to volunteer to advocate and teach others the importance of knowing, because she's blind, she is not prohibited from doing other things in life. And Amy says she shared your piece of poetry with her today, a piece of poetry with her today. So.
No, it would have been that piece that I
wrote. That piece? Okay.
Yeah, I posted it today when I wrote it. So I think someone else has asked for a transcript of it as well. So
yes,
if there's some way, they can either get it from my social media, or if they want to give me another way of sending it an email and you pass that on to me, I can get it sent.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and bring on Travis. I am unmuting you now, Travis, and you have the floor.
You are watching live team coverage of Tea and Poetry, brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. The Low Vision Shop, located in Baltimore, Maryland, and Miami, Florida, to better serve you, and these fine sponsors.
Nice.
Good evening, Travis. Nice.
Good evening, everyone. How we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Well, it's afternoon for me.
I know.
I'm doing great. No, I'm doing great. Thank you. It's so good to see all of you today.
It's great to see everyone as well. And in fact, to have you as always. We always appreciate having your voice and hearing the excitement that is coming from the West Coast. Anything exciting on the home front there?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be going to the NASCAR event this weekend in SoCal.
Nice. Is it? Oh yeah. Is this the one in LA in the Coliseum?
You, let's see. I can't remember. That's the one in LA. Yes, that's the one in LA.
That's what you're going to. It's at the Coliseum. It's the road course. Is that in the Coliseum? I think, is that what it is?
I think so. And I think so. They just paved it. I believe that's the one you're talking about. The location.
Yeah. Let me see. LA Coliseum. I think it's.
Yeah. Hold on. And I know they've done.
Now, it's yes, Sunday, February 6th. That is it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. At 3 o'clock is when it starts.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah. Well, our time. That is Pacific time.
Yes. So you're probably wondering, like, how does Barry know about NASCAR? What's taking place in NASCAR? God bless. Yes. Go ahead.
Do you watch NASCAR?
Don't tell anyone.
He's a huge NASCAR fan.
You are?
Well, I'm a NASCAR fan. Okay. It happens to be that my younger son, who's 15 years old, is a lifelong, diehard NASCAR fan. Yes.
Will all be.
Yes. So with a huge NASCAR fan in the house and everything, when obviously the season starts actually in Daytona, but this is a special event that they're having at the LA Coliseum for NASCAR.
Yes.
But Daytona is on Sunday, February 20th. That is the kickoff of the season. And in my house on the weekends, everything revolves around NASCAR. So
love it.
Yes. So and it happens to be that a good friend of mine actually works at NASCAR these days, and we're gonna have to do something for this group, maybe as a NASCAR event. So
it's interesting because my mom, she's in a support group, a women's group via Zoom. A lot of us are getting onto the Zoom platform nowadays, as we know it, and we have been before the pandemic. One of she's like a relative of one of the family members, like, works for NASCAR.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, it's a great organization, NASCAR, and I'm trying to think about having anything here to share with them. But I was actually in Las Vegas for the race back in last September. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We try to do at least, well, doesn't always happen, one NASCAR race a year. And I was hoping to take my son to Daytona this year, but unfortunately, there's a conflict of interest with my schedule, so it's not going to work out. So he's asking me to take him to a West Coast race, not Fontana. That makes sense. Fontana. Yeah. There's.
Yeah. That's in the fall, Labor Day weekend, I believe.
Okay, that's what it is. And then there's another one there's another one out there also, but
so
there's
we're
Phoenix.
going to go to that.
Yeah.
Old Phoenix. Yep. There's Phoenix, Arizona.
Absolutely. So, and there's a Vegas as well. So I did not know that you're a NASCAR fan. That is good to know. Who's your favorite driver?
One of our favorite drivers. I can't remember his first name. I think the last name I know is Larson.
Kyle
Larson. Yep, I knew.
Yes.
I was correct.
Yes, I know, and it's pretty crazy that I know these things, but.
And we're gonna leave Friday. We're gonna have some fun all weekend. We're gonna stay. We're not gonna stay in LA necessarily. Have you heard of Westlake Village?
I have heard of it. Yes.
It's about 45 minutes to an hour north of LA, for your information, as you know. We're gonna stay in Westlake Village.
Mm-hmm. That sounds nice.
Mom, Dad, and I were all going to have our own hotel rooms, which makes total sense, especially being in my 30s. And
Yep, it's make it comfortable for everyone. You have to make me one promise, though, Travis.
What?
You got to send me some pictures.
You know what? I will have pictures. I was going to share some with my BFF, and of course, you will be included as well. Please. With pictures.
I would love them if you could send them to me, text them to me. You have my cell phone number. Text me on Sunday when you're at the Coliseum. I would love my son will make my son. You put a big smile on his face.
Okay, and then the pictures, I probably will not send you the pictures until we're at our hotel room, or perhaps when we're back home, probably. To let you know.
No problem. Whatever is more convenient for you, be happy. But yes, you've made my day. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad. I thank you for letting me know, and that makes me happy that you feel great.
Yes, absolutely. And
Oh.
I'm glad that you're going to experience something unique. I think it's the first time they're doing it there. So this is going to be a very unique experience in itself.
Yes, and actually somebody just posted a comment and mentioned something about Phoenix. I really couldn't hear what they said because you and I were talking, and I'm trying to think what that person said.
Sedona Dave posted that. He's up in Sedona, and he obviously posted about the Phoenix race. So there was I was actually looking at maybe doing that race also. There's some good stuff. For those of you who are outside the country, like in Europe, I don't know how familiar you are or anyone's familiar with NASCAR, but it's quite the sport, and it's quite popular here in the U.S.
Yes, it is. And of course, though, if you're going to go to Phoenix, there's a lot to do in Arizona. You got Camelback Mountain, I know, and Mummy Mountains.
There's only one thing to do in Arizona. That's visit and go hiking with Sedona Dave up in the Red Rocks.
Yes, that is very important. Go hiking with Sedona Dave, and heck, maybe give us a ride on the Groom Transportation Services, which would be a sponsor and co-sponsor of this Tea and Poetry coverage.
Hey, you can add a werewolf gear to the sponsorship. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave's giving thumbs up, so all good. All right, Travis. Dave and Dave Steele, you're on mute, by the way.
Oop. We lost Dave Steele.
There he is.
I was just letting Travis take over. You know, it's all good. I was happy sat there listening to you guys talk about NASCAR and making Travis smile is what Tea and Poetry is all about. So that's all good.
Yes,
absolutely. And by the way, you know, just like Travis shared that he's going to a NASCAR experience over the weekend. If anyone's going out to anything new, they're excited to share about, let us know. We love this. So
I'm hoping to go traveling again in the near future and have some new experiences, and hopefully soon I'll be able to share some details with Tea and Poetry. And
Travis, I have a question for you. How far are you from San Francisco?
How far am I from San Francisco?
Yes.
Well, okay.
If you drive.
Well, let's see. So first of all, I'm like 2.5 hours far, south from San Jose. And let me think.
So another 45 minutes?
Yeah, so I'm going to probably say it's going to be a little over 3 hours probably, depending on traffic. Okay.
Do you I know Allison, she flies out of San Luis Obispo. Is that your airport also?
That is our major airport in San Luis Obispo County.
Got it. Okay. So okay. Got it.
Yes. It's the only one too, if you're going to take domestic flights to Denver, Colorado, for example, SF or Seattle.
Got it.
For example.
Got it. Okay.
Because if you're going to go to Europe, then you have to probably go to SFO or fly into LAX or you need to go to Europe.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Good to know.
Watch this
Very
space.
Good. Watch this space. Exactly. Watch this space. All right, Travis, we'll let you, I'm going to put you back on mute, but if you want anything else to share with us and there's time, we'll just raise that thumb and we'll bring you back on. And yes, Travis is close to you, Jennifer. So
that's right. I remember Jennifer. And I just want to say one thing. The weather report is going to be partly cloudy with a chance of more poetry.
Beautiful. Can't ask anything more.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Travis. I'm gonna put you back on mute here. Enjoy yourself, and don't forget to send me pictures.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we got the lowdown. What's happening on the West Coast this weekend? And my son's gonna be a little jealous. So, and should be interesting.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice experience for Travis. So, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the LA Coliseum, but if you're wondering how they're putting NASCAR track inside the Coliseum, they're putting in, I think it's a road course they're putting inside there. So should be pretty interesting.
Would you like another piece of poetry?
I would. Is it about NASCAR?
It's not, no.
Okay.
Although if you give me 5 seconds, I can write. No, I'm not going to joke. I'm not going to write something. Yeah, I want to share. I've got one for the end especially, but I want to share one. I actually wrote this last Thursday, just after Tea and Poetry. And the reason why I wrote it, I've spoke about this before, how, you know, I always say I don't just write the words, I mean them. And I often, you know, speak to people and support people, not just through the poetry, but through phone calls and reaching out to people. I spoke of last week how I'd been in touch with a lady from the Massachusetts area who had just she got to the stage with her RP where she'd had to hand in, or really, you know, stop driving, and kind of going down the whole process of, you know, getting herself registered as being legally blind, and going down that process of getting support. And through kind of talking to her and getting her the help, which she's got now through the Carroll Centre, big shout out to them in Massachusetts, and some of the other people that have really helped me out, I decided to write this piece of poetry to really talk about some of the things that she'd described about how she was feeling. So I'm going to read this one for you.
Perfect.
I'm sure a lot of people out there will relate to this. I believe in you just like you believe in me. Don't doubt you for a second about how you say you see. Won't view you with confusion, no illusion to explain why you can look me in the eyes whilst using your white cane. You'll never hear me question you about why you don't look blind. I know there's many shades and how by these you're not defined. I see the person there behind the disability, all the things that you have faced despite anxiety. Won't judge you by the perceptions that await outside your door, for I know how it feels because I have been there before.
Well, I want to say that not only do I believe in you, Dave, I believe in everyone here and beyond. And you know, this is just an incredible community, and I'm trying to find the right words here, but I think everyone's got, you know, one of the things some of us sometimes have difficulty is believing in themselves, and we all have the power to accomplish and to really get past any barrier. So that is what.
Speaking of that, just quickly, there's something else I want to share with you, actually. Just going on that about support. You know, I have the support of all you guys, and obviously you, Barry, you know, there every day. But obviously here, you know, I always speak about Austin being a great source of inspiration for me, and obviously, you know, the source of inspiration behind Austin's amazing adventures. And I've been thinking about a lot about him recently, and the relationship that we have. And I decided a few days ago to write a piece of poetry for Austin. And I've written some poetry for Austin before. You know about Shift This Cloud, which talks about the kind of 1 and 2 aspects, but that's obviously not stuff I can read, you know, to him at this kind of stage.
Right.
But I wanted to write something for him that he could really understand and would really tell of our relationship. And I wrote this little piece. I'm going to read it for you now, just quickly.
And I'm just going to say, Sandy, you're up next. So I recognize your hand is up, and I'll bring you on.
Yeah, sure. We'll get to Sandy straight for this.
Yeah.
So this is what I wrote for Austin. I know that you're proud of me and glad that I'm your dad. And though you understand my sight, sometimes it makes you sad. You've told me during story time you wish my eyes weren't blind, and hate the way it spoils the day when my smile I can't find. But everyone has challenges. This life is often tough. And even though you're only 8, you understand enough. For we are in agreement that we wouldn't change a thing. There's far too many gifts to shift the pain that blindness brings. And if I wasn't here today, your dad and the blind poet, life wouldn't be so precious. We are blessed, and we both know it.
Very nice piece. How did he react to that?
He loved it and came and just gave me. He just kind of went all quiet and then came and gave me a big hug. But he said he loved it.
That was right. That was really beautiful. Okay, Sandy, I am unmuting you now. How are you, Sandy?
Hey. Hi. That was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was. Yes, it was. That's kind of touching, and I can understand why he probably didn't have the words to say how he felt when you wrote that. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's done it a few times where we've done story times, and there was a time last year where, because like my central vision started to go recently, and I couldn't read the words on a particular book that he wanted to read, and he got all upset. And he cried, actually, and I sat there with him crying on his bed, and he was really sad that I couldn't read the book and that my eyes were getting worse. And then we spoke about it for a little while, and he said, well, actually, if your eyes weren't the way you were, you wouldn't be the blind poet, and you wouldn't be able to help the people that you do. So he was happy for that in the end, and that's something that we always try and focus on.
Wow. He's quite a guy.
He is.
I did.
He's a sharp young man.
He
He
certainly
really
is. Yeah, he is.
Handsome. Yeah, well, I saw a picture of him, and I think there was something where he wanted to go to America so he could find an American girl. Am I right?
Yeah. Fingers crossed. That might be happening in the future, very, very soon as well. So we're hoping, as part of Austin's Amazing Ventures, we can get him out and he can come and speak about the books himself. And what better way to have the character in the book reading the book for some visually impaired children out in the States.
Amazing. It's amazing. But I wanted to take a minute and say hello to Bambi French. I wasn't here last week, so I didn't hear you. But this just a few minutes before the blind poet came on, I had my computer on and up pops you. And it must be the what you were talking about before, the
podcast.
Yeah, the pod.
Yeah.
Help me out.
The
Yeah, the
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah, those. Well, I started to read number 43 and I didn't get to the end. And I just wanted to tell you, this is really great. And thank you for your time.
Oh.
I'm going to get to the 7 things that you had talked about, but I didn't get there yet. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It's very interesting.
Oh,
And I want to hear the two of you together. I didn't get to that one either. I'm a little slow.
Yeah. That's okay. They'll be there forever. So you've got time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I am going to bring on Cindy now as well. And thank you, Amy, for posting that in the chat as well.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi. I'm always afraid to talk because I always hit buttons and actually.
No,
when I meant to
you're
hit
all
them-
good. You're
Oh,
all
I
good.
hope so. I'm
Absolutely.
still in the learning process. Everybody
Hey,
knows.
listen, we're all friends here. This is what it's all about. I hit the
Absolutely.
wrong things all the time, so don't worry about that.
And you know what? I've said it again, and Barry talked about strength. And
Yes.
strength comes from having people like all of you. Like I said, one good person of the encouragement we need. Where do we begin? Sometimes we don't know where to begin. I have goals too. Like I said, I want to reach out and help others more than I want the help for me. But it takes an open door. It takes a beginning. And thanks to special people that have come into my life, doors are slowly opening for me to be able to reach out and help someone else. But we can get caught up in our limitations. We can get caught up in our shortcomings. And then unfortunately, in how we feel, depression, discouragement, there's so much sometimes we want to do or reach out to do for someone else, or to become that person, that productive person that sometimes we just, I don't know how to say it, just sometimes we're trying too hard. So we have to embrace life one day at a time. Somebody had mentioned to me the other day, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Take a breath, step back a little bit, because sometimes we get caught in all our limitations and it gets discouraging. Like I had said last week, against all odds. I mean, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed that I could have actually been helping other people. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have believed that I could be on a podcast like this. Still don't know how to get the live feed to come up for the face, but still working on that. But these are steps, thanks to the help of the good people at Inside and the ride bus. And I mean, the technical department, all these things are teaching me, because my goal is also to reach out to other people with disabilities and limitation and tell them you can do it. But it's just we're going to have bad days. There's going to be
I
days
want.
you want to cry.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
There's going to be
I'm sorry. I cut
days
you
we
off.
want to give up. But like I said, it's the connection. And little by little, like people like you, people like my friends at Insight, and people around me. It's that one kind person, like I said, that one person that won't let you give up. And a lot of times we want to be strong for others, like I've always been. But there's always going to be that day that we're going to need that kindness from someone else. We're always going to have a day when we're going to be down. And we're going to need that person, that strength among us to pick us up. So I'm hoping in the future that with the help of the technical department and friends, that I'm going to learn how to reach out more and more to people. I'm still learning how to email, still learning how to send a response, but it's the connection we have here. This is the most important thing. Because when we're having a bad day, to be able to say, oh, I could reach out to Bambi, to Dave, to any of you and say, you need that kind words. It's just to have that connection, that support. It's so important.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
It's like an insight.
Yeah, I was going to share a quote with everyone. Someone had posted it on my feed in LinkedIn. For those of you who are not familiar with LinkedIn, LinkedIn is like almost like a Facebook, but more for business per se. But anyway, someone who I'm friends with posted this quote, and his quote is, "You are not defined by your past. You are prepared by your past." And I just
absolutely.
I just thought, and he went on to say, is like, every single experience in your past paves the road to a more prepared future.
How many times have we spoke on that itself through my poetry in the last couple of weeks? It's a big theme.
Yeah, it's just, and your past does not define you. It's so true.
In fact, actually, going to what Bambi with the podcast, she shared a clip on her Instagram channel, and on the clip I was saying just that, about I would go through all the things, all the dark days of yesterday, because they've led me to be the person I am now, and that's exactly that.
Yeah, it's this is a really special group here, and I'm just so grateful to be part of it.
That I don't know if I'm still on or not on.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. But you just said a mouthful, because a lot of times I get stuck in the past, all the mistakes I made, all the shortcomings, all the things that I thought I should have achieved in life, instead of, like you said, those things can define us. We can learn from them, but we can't let us hold it. We have to move forward. We got to let go of what lies behind to move forward. And all this is making us into the people that we are trying to become.
It is.
And even dress, even trying to make yourself look good. When you feel you look better, it does help. We want to meet people. Like I said, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been thought that I could have done the things that I'm doing now. I mean, I still got a long ways to go, but I have a goal and I want to reach that goal.
Awesome.
And not let fear stop me.
Yeah, you will. You will. I think
I love it.
It's come to that time now when actually, I'll let you do the kind of thank yous in a second, but from what we were just talking now, I've got the perfect piece of poetry, which was the other one I wrote today, which I want to kind of do once you finish all your goodbyes. And really, I want to dedicate this one to Cindy, actually, this last piece of poetry.
Take it away. Oh, you want me to do our...
do the thank you. Yeah, do the... Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Once again, it's great. I mean, I can't believe where we are. Just time flies. Great to see everyone today. I hope everyone enjoyed. I know we talked about some really great poetry and really, went pretty deep on some of the words here. And I hope everyone really has some great takeaways. I know I do. And, this is what gives me the strength to continue and push forward and to do more. And look forward to seeing everyone next week. Next week, Dave will be wrapping up. This will be on Wednesday after he wraps up from the school visit, reading Austin's amazing adventure to a large audience. Very exciting. Can't wait to hear the reaction and how everything goes. So wish you good luck with that. And wishing Travis a wonderful experience in LA with NASCAR. And wishing everyone just, stay safe. And I'll let Dave close things out. One last thing. TM Poetry is recorded and we typically do post tea and poetry on YouTube shortly after each episode. Please be advised that Mohammed, our wonderful colleague, is a little behind as far as posting. So if you are looking for an episode and it's not up there yet, please check back in the coming days because he is a little bit backed up and he is processing everything as fast as possible. So if you enjoy tea and poetry, please give it a like, share, and invite a friend. So Dave, take it away.
Yeah, we talk about words that we've all related to. I do want to dedicate this one to Cindy, but I know a lot of people out there are really going to feel these words. And this was the second poem that I wrote today. It goes like this. If no one else has told you yet, you're more than just enough. You're more than capable to find your way when times get rough. You're doing everything you can to be the best you can, especially when life you live will seldom go as planned. But you've survived all the tests this world has made for you, and that should be enough for what's to come to get you through. So though you may be feeling low, know soon this all will fade, and every card that you've been dealt, a stronger you've been made. So hold your head up high, remember just how great you've done, and any battle you will face, no doubt in time be won.
Awesome.
Fantastic. I completely forgot to ask our friends in the Northeast up in the Providence, Boston area, how they're doing with all that snow. But hopefully everyone managed and got through it, and hopefully doing enough.
Doreen's got to a hair appointment, so because she's not here this week, so she's getting her hair done, so it can't be too bad now.
No, it should be good.
My name is Angie. I'm Doreen's friend, and we don't like the snow. We want it to go away.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully they will.
And Cindy, that was beautiful. And Dave, your poetry, that poem was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Wishing everyone
Awesome.
a wonderful afternoon, evening, day, wherever you are in the world. And we'll see you next week. Saying so long and take care. Thank you, Dave.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Tea and Poetry, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Join us live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Lanny D. Chesapeake Lighthouse and the Low Vision Shop. If you enjoyed Tea and Poetry, please invite a friend, like, share, and subscribe.